Hello everybody and welcome to TJ's Lego Room, and today I am super excited to show you guys Racoon's Warbird, and I've got some secrets for you coming up here. I'm really excited. But we got two pieces of housekeeping we got to take care of really quick. The first one is that the Razorcrest Mach 2 contest is in full swing. Remember, the final date of that is July 1st, 2021. So I suggest you get cracking. Hopefully I'll have all the rules permanently posted somewhere in the near future. That is on my list of projects for next week that I'm going to be working on, is getting all that put together. But that is next week's project. In the meantime, I will just throw a link down to the original contest announcement in the description, and you can check that out if you're interested in winning a Razorcrest Lego set. So, secondly, the instructions that I have for the mock today are up for free at Rebrickable.com. For free! So you're welcome, Galaxy. And that's where you can find all of my amazing mocks that I currently have instructions for. While most of the mocks are about $5, there are also some bigger ones as well as a few free ones. So once again, you're welcome, Galaxy. I hope you enjoy and can build some of this stuff if you like it. And now we're going to get into the meat of it, because we need to talk about something. In Star Wars, oh my goodness. In Star Wars, there are so many ships. And there are so many that I am hearing about a new one every month, it seems like. There's always somebody in the comments that's saying, hey, can you build this ship? And I'm like, I've never heard of that ship. I have no idea what you're talking about. Some of them are from Legends, which is not something I'm super familiar with. But a lot of them are part of actual canon from comic books and things like that I just have never heard of before. But not only do these ships have names and descriptors and like named pilots that go along with them, but they also have even deeper details. They have backgrounds on how they were made, the companies that made them, the companies that made the laser cannons on these ships. That's how deep the Star Wars details get. Now, in contrast, let's talk about what Marvel does. They have nothing. Specifically for Guardians of the Galaxy, like the ships that are in there, there's very, very little information on these things. Now, part of that's because the universe in Marvel is not super concerned with that stuff. They're more focused on characters. But hear me out for a second. There's got to be more to it than what's currently out there. So the Wikipedia entries for Guardians of the Galaxy talk about where the ships appeared in the movie, and that's it. Oh my gosh, it has the most useless information that you would ever want to know about a ship, right? It'd be like if the Wikipedia entry for X-Wings said that Luke Skywalker flew an X-Wing to destroy the Death Star. And Biggs Darklighter flew an X-Wing, or Wedge flew an X-Wing in the Battle of Yavin. And other pilots flew X-Wings in the Battle of Yavin, and some of them died. That's almost exactly what it felt like when I was reading the Wikipedia entry for Rocket's Warbird. Because, I like to do a little bit of research to share with you guys, and I was infuriated about how little information there was. But it also opened up a really interesting opportunity for me to do better for the Guardians of the Galaxy myself. So, let's jump into it. This is Racoon's M-Class ship, and apparently they call it the Warbird in the Wikipedia entry, but that's up for debate. Not that anyone's actually debating it except me, but let's get into this. If this ship was called the Warbird, it would not need to be called Rocket's Warbird specifically, but it actually says that on the dinky little ship that we got from Lego. If I found a picture, I'll put it up here. As well as some packaging for some other ships. Other various toys that were made that feature this ship. So no, the Wikipedia says that the name of the ship is the Warbird, but I contest that it is not. Because Warbirds are actually a subclassification of ships that fall under the M-Class banner, which includes virtually all the ships that are piloted by the Ravagers. The Milano is an M-Class. The Rocket's Warbird is an M-Class. And the other smaller ships are also, the other Warbirds are also, they're all M-Class. It's got a very distinctive shape to it. Okay, so I know I shouldn't be so uptight about this stuff, but dang it, Bobby, there's so few unique ships in the Marvel Universe. How is it that the info on these things is so sparse? How is it that there's so little information about these things? It's been driving me crazy for a while. Come on, Marvel. Figure it out. You want to be like Star Wars eventually. But it does open the opportunity that as of today, I'm going to come up with a ridiculous amount of details of the ship. And since no one else has said otherwise, I'm declaring all of these details are 100% canon. And no one can tell me otherwise because no one else cares. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my mock of Rocket Raccoon's M-Class Warbird, now officially and canonically named the Bandit's Insanity. I came up with this because raccoons have the little mask like a bandit, and he also slammed it through the front of Ronan's ship, the Dark Aster, in order to, prove his insanity. So, plus it's also got an insane amount of firepower, so I think the name fits very well, the Bandit's Insanity. Kind of sounds cool, too. And I'm always about the cool, right? Always trying to find the cool. Anyway, so the ship is equipped with two, now these are some of the details I've been talking about, two Lunar-class RJ-43 top-mounted engines, as well as some upgraded omnidirectional repulsor discs. Those are those circles up on the top that also carry through to the underside. So the actual ships in the movie have the engines that actually twist and move and everything, but until LEGO makes some new pieces that I can do that more easily with, we're just going to stick with these display ones that are very similar to what the Milano had anyway, right? We'll just have to use our imaginations. In atmosphere, I estimate that the ship could reach speeds of about 650 miles an hour. That's about 1,050 kilometers per hour for our Rebel friends, which is just under the speed of sound. That was actually pretty phenomenal, considering that it also carries a ridiculous amount of armament. In addition to some standard heavy repeating 80 caliber projectile launchers, two more massive continuous fire weapons, usually seen on destroyer class vehicles, were slung underneath the wings for a truly devastating assault. While I didn't include any hints for the onboard standard weapons, which usually sit somewhere along the wings there, the underwing monsters definitely make an appearance here. And of course, for added playability, I did decide to make them out of the newer 6-stud shooters. While I'm not the biggest fan of those, they're actually pretty enjoyable to use when you're doing a play session battle with your kids. It's at least for me. All right, so now that we got some of that out of the way, I wanted to do a couple comparison shots here between this and the original Milano, and I'm going to switch over to some static shots here for you. As you can see, there are a lot of similarities in the build. I originally did build this out of a second copy of the original set, and so a lot of the base structure is pretty similar. However, so much of it has changed that if you try to turn your Milano into the Warbird, you'll end up only using about 30 or 40 pieces, and about half of those are like Technic bricks and Technic pins. So definitely something you probably got to start from scratch. Guardians of the Galaxy was my favorite Marvel movie for a very long time. I recently took one of those quizzes that lets you rank them, and unfortunately it ended up a little bit lower on my list than I anticipated. But to this day, I can sit and listen to the movie anytime, anywhere. And although the Ravager ship designs were pretty cookie cutter in a lot of ways, I always admired the awesomeness of Rocket's Warbird, the Bandit's Insanity. It was just so perfect for his character. In the movie, it actually was slightly smaller than the Milano and some of the other larger Warbirds and ships that they use, M-class ships. So it's smaller, and it also has the biggest guns in the fleet, just like Rocket, right? It's kind of just a little bit of a cool reflection of who he is as a character. And the ship is definitely one that I believe needed to have a really good rendition in LEGO. Especially since the Milano was actually a really fun set to build and actually looked pretty darn good for what they had to do with it. So anyway, Thank you guys so much for checking out TJ's Legroom. I hope you have enjoyed this fresh look at Rocket's Warbird. I understand if you guys want to take off right now, but there's just a couple things I'll talk about real quick that I've updated for the playability of the set. Not only did I modify the front end by redoing the color scheme on the front to better match the movies, but I also redid the canopy. So the windscreen, it's kind of delicate, and that's one of the reasons why I actually put the ship up for free is, man, to get these shapes, it was actually pretty difficult. But it's free. I mean, you can check it out and see if you can make modifications of your own. So the cockpit does come off. It usually comes off a little easier. I'm reaching around my lights and everything to get to it. But the cockpit comes off, and then you can access the 3 seats in here. You've got the 1 seat for Rocket Racoon, and one of the tricks on that is you either need to remove his tail or have him sit pretty far forward, but both ways work depending on how you want to take the pictures or however you want to display it. I don't necessarily think he needs the tail while he's piloting in the ship, but that's up to you. And then there are a couple seats in the back which you can kind of reach your fingers in there and access, or you can actually get the back section off of there if you need to kind of reach down inside there and get a little closer. So, but that is semi-structural, so you'll need to be careful. I actually spent quite a bit of time working on this, so I hope you guys, I hope you really enjoy it. Anybody who ends up picking up the instructions and going to the work to get the pieces together. I really think that Marvel has had some really awesome designs in the past, and this is one of my favorites, and I'm so glad that I finally get to share that with you guys in instruction form. So thanks again so much for checking out. Hopefully you guys had a great time. I know that wasn't a lot of extra stuff, but if you stick around, I've got one more story to tell, but we will talk to you later in TJ's Lego Room, and until we see you again next time, play well. Bye. All right. You guys want to hear a story? I guess if you stuck out this long, you do. All right, so here's the story. When I was building Rocket's Warbird for the first time, Warbird, man, I am having a hard time with my words tonight, pronunciation. When I was building Rocket's Warbird, the Bandit's Insanity, for the very first time, I spent a lot of time looking at the movie because I wasn't able to find good images of the Warbird, Rocket's Warbird at least. And so what I ended up doing is I watched the movie over and over and over and over and over. I had the digital copy. I had purchased it. And as I watched it over and over and over and over and over, I got really tired of it. And there's one particular song that plays when Rocket's Warbird first comes on the scene, when the Bandit's Insanity first comes on the scene. And it's the Cherry Bomb song. Cherry Bomb. Oh my gosh. I was so done with that song by the end because I literally watched that one scene where the Bandit's Insanity comes in. I watched it, oh my gosh, 100 times. It must have been, because I was looking for every single detail I could possibly find, trying to find the proportions, trying to find the decals, the decorations, like the paint scheme on it. I mean, it was insane how much I was trying to get on this thing. And in the end, it actually worked out really well. I was really proud of it. It is a little bit flimsy, which is one of the reasons why I am putting the instructions up for free. It's a little tipsy, but it's free, so what do you want? Plus, I've had a lot of other projects, mainly my basement, trying to finish that. We're finishing that up pretty quick. Anyway, that's my story of the one part of Guardians of the Galaxy that I actually skip when I listen to it or watch it. I just skip right past that song because I have that entire sequence memorized. I have all the visuals, all the sounds, all the dialogue just in my head, and I cannot get rid of it. We actually got the soundtrack for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, and some others as well, Volume 2 as well. But when we listened to the first one, I can't listen to that song. It bugs the heck out of me. And it's all because I just watched it too long. Isn't that funny? Oh, but I'm happy with how it turned out. Rocket's Warbird is a beautiful ship. And I think the mock that I built is pretty significantly close to what we would hope to get in like a Lego set. So I'm pretty proud of it. And hopefully you guys pick up the instructions and at least look through them and see how it connects. And let me know if you have better ways to work it out. Not that I'll update the instructions or change them, but be nice to update my own model. Free instructions I really don't do a lot of maintenance on or rebuilds, so I just put that out there for fun. Anyway, you guys have a great one. Play well, and we'll see you next time in TJ's Lego Room. Again. Bye.